Hello and welcome to the 21 Days Face Your Fears online challenge. I am Bristena Mantu, transformation facilitator, energy therapist and writer, and my mission is helping people heal their past in order to be able to live the life of their bliss. I'm super excited to be your host on your journey of personal growth and empowerment through fearlessness and the power of community. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Gabrielle Pelicci. Hi Gabby.
Hi.
Gabby is a former international fashion model, and after constant pressure to lose weight and become the ultra thin model idealized by the media, Gabby left the unhealthy lifestyle behind and embarked on a journey to define beauty on her own terms. Gabrielle studied everything from Buddhist philosophy to neuroscience, traveling to more than 40 countries to uncover creative and unconventional ways to live a healthy life. Today, Gabby has more than a decade of teaching experience under her belt at top universities in mind body medicine and holistic health. As the founder of Women in Wellness Career Training, Gabby empowers women of all ages to go beyond the limitations and achieve their dreams, reminding them to live their own kind of beautiful life. And I've also been part of, and I still am part of the Wellness Career Training, and it's a pleasure to be part of such a supporting and uplifting group of people. Thank you very much, Gabby, for that.
Yeah, it's so nice to be here with you, even though you're far away from me.
Yeah. What does this mean nowadays when internet is
Yeah.
helping us spread the word and connect with amazing people that are like-minded, like-hearted?
Yeah, it's so great. I'm so happy that you're creating this community for people. I think it's really valuable.
Yeah, I've definitely learned from you the power of community, how important it is to create a space where people who have similar interests to gather and share and support each other and encourage, motivate, and this is why I'm doing this challenge as well.
Yay, that's great.
All right, so let's get started with your viewpoint of fearlessness. So, would you like to talk to us about some of the fears that you maybe encountered in your life, or maybe you're dealing with at the moment, and how you're managing to overcome and acknowledge and face them?
Yeah, I was just thinking as you were reading my bio, it talks about how when I was a teenager, the first job that I ever had was modeling. And I was just remembering in my mind how scary that was
Mm.
to leave home and go to New York and get a job doing modeling, and then to have them tell me to do all these unhealthy things like stop eating, you're so fat, and discourage me from being healthy. And I remember the struggle it was to leave that and to say, no, I don't want to live that lifestyle. I want to do something differently. That was very, very difficult to walk away from that and to go back to school and to find a spiritual path and to make all these life changes. But I think there are some moments like that, right, where you have to face the fear and you have to get out of your comfort zone so that you can go on a better path for yourself. And some of the tools that I used during that transition, I mean, first and foremost, I went and found somebody to talk to. There was a woman in my community. She was a doctor, she was a counselor, and I went to talk to her and I told her how much I was struggling and asked her if she could help me. And she helped me a lot. And then she taught me some things that I could do to take better care of myself. And I started learning about psychology and meditation and yoga and all of these things. And those are the things that I have carried with me now for more than 20 years.
Awesome. And when you were deciding to transition from modeling into what you're doing now, which is basically amalgam of self-development and yoga, meditation, coaching, you're doing lots of things combined into your own unique thing created. So when you were
Yeah.
transitioning, what were you most afraid of? What was, holding you back? What were you afraid of when you were thinking whether you to move it or not, to change or not?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there was a lot of things. I mean, first, it was fear of the unknown. So, whenever you go in a new direction and you don't know what to expect, I think there's fear of the unknown. I was learning new things all the time that were very exciting, but I didn't know, could I do this as a career? Like, could I make money? Could I do this as a job? Like, how would I do it as a job? So, that was very unfamiliar to me, and I needed to get a lot of advice and talk to a lot of people and figure that out. Another part that was fearful was my family never did any of those things. So my family didn't do yoga or meditation or eat healthy food. You know, they were eating fast food and sitting on the couch watching TV. And so I was turning into someone who was very different from my family, which also can be difficult because there can be resistance there. My brother would tease me, make fun of me, things like that. So, you know, you have to face those kinds of fears. And then I would say there's also like an internal resistance because you're trying to figure out who you are and what path is right for you, what's your purpose, you know, what are you called to do? And that can also be confusing or overwhelming. And so it was an emotional process too for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you because I've been going through a very, very similar journey to yours. I've also transitioned from doing a law degree to doing coaching and mentorship. And I've been through the same struggles and turbulences like you, but now I'm here and I'm doing this and I'm very happy with what I'm doing. So, my next question for you is, you're one of the best people to talk about this. You're in this community of women who've, many of them have transitioned from a normal, conventional 9 to 5 job into coaching and healing. So, if people are not really content with what they're doing, or they don't really know what they really want to be doing, what is their real passion, and how they can also make money out of their passion, how would you go about that? How would you advise people to find, to have the courage to break free from their normal profession and go and do something that really makes them happy?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's an important question too, because I think more and more people don't want to do a 9 to 5 job anymore. so,
Yeah, yeah.
so there's many people that are wanting to do what their soul is calling them to do. I think that it's both an inside job and outside. So on the inside, I think it requires a lot of contemplation and reflection and meditation, so that you can hear the voice inside of you and what it's calling you to do. Because, you know, our mind can be very noisy. There can be a lot of distractions in our mind. And so I think that we have to get very quiet and very connected to our heart so that we can listen to what we're supposed to be doing. I think that's half of it. And I think the other half of it is to look on the outside and look what's happening in the world where people need you. You know, what's happening in the world where people are suffering or struggling or having a problem, that you can help them, because the work that you're doing, it's supposed to have an impact on others in a positive way. So that requires going out and listening to what people are saying and what kind of problems they're sharing and what kind of solutions they're looking for, and then seeing how you can help them by, you know, doing a new career.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And one question that follows from this is also maybe the financial worries. Maybe when you're going to study completely different in a completely different field, then, well, you know, you need to fund all these new studies, and it takes a while after I set up my own business and it starts to be productive and lucrative. So what do you do in the meantime? How would you advise people to go
Yeah.
around their financial worries?
Yeah. I think you have to be very mindful about finances. Sometimes what I see is people, they say, oh, you know, I'll put it on a credit card and I'll worry about it later, you know, or they don't have the conversations with people who are practicing to ask them, how do you make money? How do you make a living doing this? How much money can I expect to make the first year, the second year, the third year, and so that they have some kind of preparation. So I think when it comes to finances, you need to have really good preparation. You know, you need to have conversations with people and say, okay, well, you know, how many clients do you have and how much are you charging? And okay, so how many clients do I need to have to make $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month, you know, whatever you need to maintain your lifestyle. So I think it's about research. I think it's about preparation. And I think it's about not doing something stupid. So just because you are unhappy in your job, you may still need to take some time to create an exit plan, which means you take 6 months or 12 months where you save your money and you know that you can pay the rent and buy the food, and then you can make the transition, you know, and you be patient with that so that you're safe. And it's very difficult to start a new business or a new career if you don't know how you're going to buy your breakfast and your lunch
Yeah.
because you don't have any money. And then you put all that scared energy into your business, and then people feel nervous when they talk
Mm.
to you. You want to start your business from a place of joy and a place of feeling safe and happy. And so you need to make some preparations to do that.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. And I would like to ask you if you have any like experience with people you've worked with in relation to this, like people you've helped with this transition. Do you have any stories to tell us?
Yeah. So you mentioned the Women in Wellness Club that you've been doing. And so all of the women in that club are trying to follow their true passion, and they're in different stages of the process. So we have some women in that group that still have a full-time job, and they're doing a little bit of coaching on the side because they want to make the transition. We have some women in the group who have quit the job and are doing the coaching full-time and trying very hard to build it up. And then we have some people who have been doing it for a few years and have had some success, and they really just want it to grow. So I've seen women working in all different phases, and a lot of the tools and techniques that you're talking about, whether it's tapping or meditation or any of these healing modalities, it helps you no matter where you are on your journey to overcome the doubt, to increase the courage, to become more confident. So no matter where you are on the journey, you still need to develop those skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And to our luck, we in the coaching profession, we know we have all the tools that we can use also on ourselves. But for people who don't know about these tools, well, we're here and we can share them with you. And for this online challenge, I will share absolutely how to do EFT, how to apply it on yourself, because it's an amazing tool. Do you find?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like in a few minutes, you can really shift your mindset and get into a place where you're feeling really stable and secure. It's very powerful.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so what is your number one strategy or tip when somebody experiences a fear? How would you go about that? Do you have a practical
Yeah.
tip you'd like to share?
Yeah, I have this funny acronym that I made up in my mind, and I hope I can remember it perfectly. I call it PALS. So, like, when you refer to a friend, sometimes you call them your pal. So that's how I think of fear, is like trying to make fear your friend. So I think the first thing, the P stands for becoming present. So you just kind of stop what you're doing and becoming present, right? And just, stop the mind from thinking about what's going to happen or what happened in the past, and become really, really present. The second one is about awareness. So it's about observing what the fear is doing, right? So you can close your eyes, you can look at it, you can imagine it as a color, you can imagine it as a shape, or a texture. You can feel where it is in your body, and just kind of, look at it in that way. And that creates a little bit of a distance, so it's not like completely attacking you and you panic, And then after that, the L is just like the loving compassion. So, you have to hold whatever's coming up for you in loving compassion. If you start to attack the fear, then the fear just gets bigger and crazier. But really, if you just focus on the breath and you hold yourself in compassion, you accept that this is just part of being human, then it seems to go away a lot faster. And then the S one is about making sense of why this is happening. So that's when you can do a little bit of a deeper exploration and say, okay, am I being triggered here? Does this remind me of another situation? Is there something in my life that I need to change so that this doesn't keep happening? What can I do so that I'm not feeling quite so fearful? And that's where tapping could come in, because maybe it's reminding you, right, of a different time where you had a bad experience and you need to make that shift. So that's just some funny word I came up with for myself so that I know what to do when fear happens.
Yeah, I love it. So it's PALS.
Yep, pals, making
Awesome.
pals with your fear. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And it also reminded me of that Native American story. The old man and the grandchild who came up
Yes.
and asked the old man to tell a story, and the old man said, "Well, there are two wolves living inside of us. The one who is compassionate, loving, kind, generous, and the other one who's full of rage and hatred and distress." And the little boy asked, "And who is going to win in this battle?" "The one you feed."
Yes.
So if we feed the fear, it's gonna gain more and
Grow.
more, grow more and more.
Yeah.
Whereas if you approach it from, as you said, from a space of love and compassion, then it can shift a lot and can realize the fact, indeed, it's part of human nature, and we gotta love ourselves nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. So, how would you relate being fearless or facing our fears with growing personally and evolving spiritually as well?
Right. Well, I think the favorite thing I've ever learned about fearlessness was Pema Chodron. She's a Buddhist teacher. She's been teaching for 40 years about Buddhist philosophy. And she says that when you become truly fearless, you become enlightened. And she says that we should not be impatient about becoming fearless because this is like the ultimate kind of human achievement is to become fearless. When we see the true nature of things, when we overcome the ego, when we have liberation, that's really when we're fearless. And in the meantime, while we're being human, the fear is going to be part of our experience, and learning to move towards fearlessness but also not worry that we have fear is part of the human experience.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. Fearlessness equals enlightenment at the end of the
That's it.
day.
Yep.
And we're not there yet. It,
Right. I'm not there yet. Maybe you are.
no, no way. And while we live in I don't know, in Western society, there's a lot of pressure and expectations, and there's still going to be, it's a pressurized environment. Well, even though we're in a wellness journey, there's still maybe a little bit of sources of stress here and there. So we gotta work with it and see how we can shift it to put it to our advantage rather to for it to be detrimental for us. To find the source of stress as an opportunity for us to see where there is for us to grow,
Yeah.
how we can develop ourselves, how we can use our insecurities or our doubts or worries to transform them into something that it's lucrative and productive.
Yeah, and that energy of fear, it's so juicy. If you just use that raw energy, like think of maybe you go to a fitness class, right? If you're feeling afraid, you can punch hard and kick, right? Because you're using that energy to be productive. So you can use that energy inside of you and you can find a way to put it in your painting or your writing or your fitness or something. And then it's not creating harm. It's like fuel for the positive thing that you're doing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that because there's so much life force that has been repressed
Yes.
in the shadow, as we call them, in the unconscious repressed parts of our psyche where a lot of our fears are coming from. So if we shed light on them and bring them up, um, for example, I was afraid of public speaking a lot of long time ago, and a while ago I couldn't even raise up my hand in a conference to ask a question, and I pushed myself and I pushed myself, and it slowly got better up until the point where now I can go on stage and I can totally be myself, uninhibited and
Yay.
free and free flowing, and I love that so much. It's incredible how I managed to go from this fearful little child who was so afraid to be judged or to be punished by saying something wrong to just go and just say whatever feels right, and whoever likes it will like it. Whoever
Yeah,
not,
that's
I'm okay with
perfect.
that.
That's perfect. Yeah, and you can, once you have an experience like that, then you can remember in your mind the next time that you're afraid, like, okay, I've done this before, right? I was scared of speaking, and now I'm not scared of speaking. So maybe your next challenge is you're scared of writing, but you know that you've already overcome the fear of speaking and you can overcome the fear of writing. So every time we practice, we build up more confidence.
Yeah, it's always come down to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are like there we have many patterns that we're used to, to behave in a certain way, and it takes time for these patterns to shift and to transform from something that is disempowering to something that is empowering and creative and productive. So it's all about being patient and keeping to the practice, keeping commitment to the practice.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. The more committed you are and consistent you are, the faster you're going to see changes happen.
Yeah, and even if you might fail, but still keep going, never give
Yeah,
up.
I totally agree.
All right. Okay, Gabby, so one last question is how can people reach you? You'd like to share any project or anything that maybe people are interested in that are watching
Yeah,
this video?
of course. So, I mean, for anybody that's watching, I always offer a free discovery session. If anybody wants to have a conversation with me for 30 minutes, you can contact me through my website, which is just my name, GabriellePelicci.com. And I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody about what's going on with them. There's also some free stuff on my website, like an audio meditation that you can access. So that's the best place to find me and reach out and make a connection. And, I'm so happy that you're doing this and sharing this with everyone. I know that it's going to be a great benefit for the people in your community. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, and something else came to my mind because for me, you're, I don't know, the pioneer of the power of communities. So maybe you'd like to share a few words about how important it is to be part of a community of individuals who are struggling with the same issues and uplifting, motivating each other. Because here with the online challenge, Face Your Fears, we're also creating a similar kind of community support network. So,
I think
what do you
maybe I
think
can
about
talk
that?
for 2 hours about community.
Okay, just in a few seconds, the essence. Let us
I
know what the
think
essence
community
is.
is so critical because we think in our mind, and our mind is designed in a way to make us think that we are the only one that is having a certain experience. So we feel a fear and we think we're the only one feeling that fear, or we have a doubt and we think we're the only one. And our mind, our ego is always personalizing everything in the environment and saying, me, me, me. And as soon as you get into a community and you meet 2 or 5 or 10 people and they say, I have this fear, then it breaks down the ego and you recognize, oh, this is being human, no big deal, no big deal.
Absolutely.
And it takes away so much of that power of that attack in your mind, and you can just relax and be in a safe space with people and recognize that it's okay, it's no big deal. And that's one of many, many, many reasons why I love community.
Okay, yeah, you nailed it right there. We're not the only ones who are struggling with this. Why did we think that we're so lonely and separated and disconnected? No, we're all human. We all experience the same ups and downs, highs and lows. Let's join together and let's talk about it and let's shift through it together and let's grow together.
Absolutely. Yay.
And it's also the age of Aquarius, where it's all about cooperation and bringing people together. And look, me, you, and me, and many people in the new paradigm movements. There, for example, we're interviewing each other, even though we have the same audience, but we're not competing against each other. We have
No.
the same values that we like to share about healing and transformation and upliftment and positivity, and we're cooperating with each other and reaching more and more people.
Yeah, this
So,
is the feminine way. It's the way of the
yes,
future. Yeah.
yes, awesome. I love that. Okay, Gabby, thank you very much for this amazing exchange. You're always someone that I really love to talk to and exchange ideas and advice. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for this beautiful program.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for watching this interview. I hope you enjoyed it and that you start implementing some of the things we talked about in your daily life. If you liked it, please share it on your social media. Let your friends know that you're participating in this amazing online challenge for fearless warriors. Join my YouTube channel, Journey to Bliss, and click on the link below to get your free Bliss Blueprint containing the three radical stages of transformation from within. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye bye.